Would just like to start out by, giving compliments to my coaching staff, players, managers, everybody involved in the win Saturday night. I thought it was a huge win. It is goes to show that when you put mind to do something, you can get it done. And the players at halftime, they said we're going to win this game, and they went out and did what they had to do to win. When I first got here, the first thing that I realized needed to change was the culture. And, we inserted we over me at that point, and it didn't happen overnight. We're still working on it. Culture is a daily thing that you have to do. But when this team got together this year, we talked about different ways that we could show our respect for each other. And one of those was to appreciate the passer, to show that person that you appreciate them setting you up for that shot. It is something that we have done all year. It is something that is second nature to our players. If you come to our practices, we do it in practice as well. I'm proud of that. I think that shows where the culture has grown in our team, and will continue to grow, because when you do finally get to the point where you're we over me, lots of good things can happen. And these kids are doing so many good things that I think have been overlooked, maybe because of the losses or because of things that have happened that take the spotlight away from them, which is something that I never want to happen. But I'm proud of them. I'm proud of the way they handled the situation. I'm proud of who they are, and I'm proud of the teammates that they are. So if that is something that is not acceptable in some ways, then again, that's on me, because that's the expectation of our players, and I would expect that you would continue to see that, because they can't help it. That's who they are, and that's kind of what they've been programmed to do.
Have you ever been involved in a situation like that, and is that something as a coach that you can even prepare your staff for in the case that does happen?
No, I guess this is 24 years of coaching. I've never been asked to leave the gym. So that was definitely something that was awkward. For me, it was embarrassing. I would never do anything to embarrass the university or my team in any way. I felt a sense of sadness as I was walking out, because I was leaving them, and I felt like that I had let them down in some way. But no, I don't guess we've ever discussed it as a staff. It's just not something that really crosses your mind. I've always known that there are certain things that you cannot do and you cannot say, and so I try to stay away from those. And so we were unprepared for the situation, and that's why I was extremely proud of my staff and my players and everybody involved for the resilience that they showed, from the composure that I thought the kids showed in that situation, because we kind of have this thing, I fight for them and they fight for me. And so their ability to maintain their emotions and continue to go play, I thought was really special.
I'll admit it's kind of brand new to me too. Were you able to talk to the team at halftime? And if you were, what did you tell them?
Yeah, I was in the locker room, when they got there at halftime, and I just told them, that we just went back over the game plan. The game plan did not change. Talked about the things that they were doing that was making them successful, the things that we needed to tweak and change. But it was just crazy, the look in their eye. I was like, we're going to win this game. I mean, you don't need me. You got everything you need. But I could just tell it was just a little bit of an edge that they had, and just a little bit of more of a, when our backs are against the wall is when we're going to fight the hardest. So just really proud of that. But, the game plan was what it was, and we were being successful in it. And the kids just went out and made plays.
So I guess you're sitting back there watching on ESPN Plus.
I did watch the second half, yes, I did.
The zone worked really well, and I noticed the communication was really good between them during the zone that helped make it work. I guess you've seen that on film, or I guess on the ESPN Plus. Too.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was something that we worked on in scout, and it was part of the game plan. We knew we would have difficulty keeping them in front of us. They're better athletes, a little bit quicker, a little bit faster. And when they started getting paint points off drives and penetration, we knew it was time to change. And the communication and the work and the rotations were really, really good. I mean, we gave up some easy stuff and we gave up some open threes, but for the most part, I thought our movement and our communication and our rebounding out of the zone, which sometimes is tough, really did set the tone for being able for us to get stops. It's very important for us to get stops because sometimes we have droughts in scoring. So the more kills that we can get in a quarter, the more opportunities we have to either remain close or even maybe maintain the lead.
We've talked about a lot about adversity that this team has had to overcome this year, whether it's injuries or players having to play different roles they're not accustomed to. Another type of adversity on Saturday that you've never had to deal with before, yet they still win in a situation that you needed to win. Is this something that can propel this team going forward to these Final Four games that says that, there's not a game on the schedule that we can't win because of what we've already overcome to this point?
I think so. I mean, everything is a learning experience. And in today's times with social media, as a parent, not even as a coach, but as a parent, you're fighting that battle. You're fighting that battle of me. Look at what I've done, or look at what somebody's done to me, things like that. So not only as a parent at home, but in our locker room each and every day, it's why we try to stress the we over me. Because just because society says it's okay, to not be a team player and a good teammate and those type of things, or have the victim mentality, it's not okay for our basketball team and for us as human beings to have that. So I think everything is a learning experience. I'm a true believer in everything happens for a reason. So I think a lot of good came, as much as I can say that, a lot of good came out of Saturday night because it showed our kids what they're made of and what they're capable of doing. And you have to learn and you have to grow from each situation. And so we have 0 seniors on this team. So everything that we can do from now to the end of the season, and everything we have overcome throughout this season, coupled with the recruiting class that we have coming in, I think it's going to help us take a big step in our future. But right now we're focused on one thing, and that's Eastern Illinois. But I do think that the kids have a little bit of different pep in their step and a little bit different ego going into Thursday.
Yeah, 9 wins. I guess with a good finish, they could finish maybe catch Tech. But you're also in a spot so that really gets kind of dicey here, where each team really is fighting for that little extra win.
Absolutely. Every game's important. And, I told the kids all along, you control what you can control. You can't count on someone else beating someone else for you. That's not who we want to be. We want to control our own destiny. Eastern Illinois is a very good team. They have a win over UT Martin, which is a very fine basketball team. And they have been able to string together several wins, playing, again, on the road. I mean, I guess that's the biggest, elephant in the room. We're 0-7 on the road. So figuring out a way to take the mentality that we seem to have at home and put that mentality into our players when we take the floor, in Illinois this week is something that's going to be vital. So, just going to continue to try to figure out ways to help them, to get them rest as much as possible. Thursday, Saturday, when you play 5 or 6 kids is pretty tough. So we're trying to limit them being on their feet, but making sure that we're still prepared.
I know Macy's doing a lot, but where would you attribute her shooting struggles? Is it the fact that she is doing so much right now, or is it the fact that maybe she's having to take tougher shots because of defensive capabilities of other teams?
Yeah, I think it could be a little bit of both, but I think part of our problem is we expect Macy to be perfect. We expect Macy to make every shot. We expect Macy to make every pass. We expect Macy to guard the best player on the other team. And I think some of that comes because the expectations that have been put on her. So, she kind of feels that too. Macy is in no way, shape, or form going to stay in this slump. I mean, it's not something, but they all go through it. Lex was 0 for 7, and now she's making 4 of 5. I mean, you go through that, but, added pressure on a kid is never going to get them to where we need them to be. So, again, she does take tough shots. She takes shots at the ends of shot clock sometimes that aren't favorable percentage shots. So a lot of that is on situation. But I think that when it comes down to it, anybody that has watched us play, anybody that's watched that young lady play for 2 years knows that she's doing the best she can. And there are going to be times where she cannot control the fact that the ball doesn't go in the basket. But what she brings to our basketball team is way more than scoring. So we just try to focus on the positives, and we just try to continue to make sure that she understands that we want her taking no shots, and we want her to continue to just be her.
Is there a chance we see a lot more zone here at the end of the year, considering it helps you save your legs a little bit? That's a defense that's a little less taxing than man-to-man. And with the way you guys ran it, success on Saturday.
Yeah, it gives me a lot more hope in using that because I thought we did really well. It all depends on personnel and scout. We're going into an Eastern Illinois team that shoots the ball really well. So sometimes zone can be effective against shooters and sometimes it can't. So it's going to have to be a scout thing, and I do think it's something that's going to have to be taken into consideration to try to save legs as much as possible.